So there's no intro tonight.
No intro.
Should all of us have an individual intro too?
I think it's overkill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need that.
Don't need it.
Who needs a single intro?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think people that are compensating for something, but
like that.
This is a little different than what we're used to. Usually we have a plan. We have a script. We've got an intro.
Exactly.
What up, Kirk? How you doing, sir?
Yeah, just jump right in and just have fun.
Yeah.
Well, the title of the stream tonight is, what do you want to talk about? I think we're going to talk about a few things.
Yeah.
Talk about what the audience wants to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is like it. What up, Mr. Beefy? Don't worry about my voice. A little under the weather. That time of the year.
So this is basically on y'all.
Yeah, this is on everybody in the
So
comments.
the audience is writing the script tonight. It's an open mic night. Maybe we'll bring some people on too.
It's our last night on Thursday.
Yeah, this is our last Thursday.
Nico, what's up? Well, maybe that's where we should start. Just mention we're changing nights.
Yep.
Well, why is that?
Like life sometimes, and sometimes you have to make a change. Like sometimes things get a little stale on a certain day. Not saying we're folding under pressure, but maybe it's time for somebody else to have fun on Thursdays.
I think Thursdays are old and tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man.
Kind of redundant, so.
We don't need to go on every week, like every Thursday. You know, we have life.
Mm-hmm.
We do this for fun. We have priorities outside of this.
Yeah.
We have jobs, family.
Imagine taking this shit so seriously. That,
right.
You know, you got to take shots at other people, other shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't go live. And the other thing is, if you go beyond a certain viewership number, that apparently gets everybody in a frenzy.
Yeah.
Imagine advertising your show using Google, using the means that you're supposed to when you have an actual guest on your show.
Didn't Mr. Vinny Vegas talk about that a couple of weeks ago?
I think he did when we went live.
Yeah.
I went live and nobody told me until
no one told me either, to be fair. No one told me either. So fuck Joe and fuck Vinny.
Wow.
It was one of those situations I was like, oh.
I'm supposed to be the dictator, right?
Listen,
I'm supposed to be the new leader.
I'm just sitting there on a Saturday night watching TV and I get a message like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching TV, about to go live. I'm like, cool. And then it just trickled down. The funny thing is, I didn't think he was going to bring me on. I was going to be backstage handling the comments. I was going to do, you know. And then he brought me on. I'm like, okay, cool.
Referring to Mr. Unpredictable, Vinny.
He's still on his tour.
I'm still waiting for him to play me in Madden again. You know.
Look at this motherfucker.
Did he call you potato?
I gotta get Ronnie Fields to come down to Toronto for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, man.
Since you know Rolex Roy is making his way over, I think it's only fitting that Ronnie Fields hops the border. And you gentlemen too are more than welcome. You're allowed to cross the border too. I know you guys actually go to wrestling events. The last event that you went to wasn't in 1992, so.
I'll tell you this: if Juan Soto signs with the Blue Jays, maybe I'll make it.
You might. You never know.
You got a 1 in 5 chance, okay? So
hey, never say never.
I mean,
it's definitely on my list. Trying to move some things around just to make sure I can try to pull it off.
I got to remind Mirabito tomorrow. He already told me that he's going to be intoxicated, and he needs that reminder to buy the tickets. Fine. I'll convince you otherwise.
What
Maybe
SummerSlam?
Yeah, which SummerSlam real live events?
We'll see.
It's possible, Mr. Beefy.
We will see. But this is very unconventional of us. We haven't been on since Joe and I were on camera with Adam Olsen from Big Shots.
Yes.
That was a great interview. They dropped a John Cena today.
He's killing
Dude,
me.
they've been
Dude.
dropping.
It's ridiculous how many
He
incredible.
dropped a Hollywood Hogan, the Razor
Yeah.
Ramon.
I'm actually buying the Hollywood Hogan for Jones for Christmas.
I don't celebrate Christmas.
You know, it's funny. A couple of weeks ago, when I went to my brother's house, go downstairs playing video games, couch football, and I look at his couch. He's got a little big league pillow, and it's a Braves one.
That's cool.
And I see it. I'm like, yo, like this was a couple of days after the interview.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I thought it would be bigger, and I'm like, hey.
It was a lot of fun. And I actually talked to Adam earlier today. We were talking about Creed. I went to the Creed concert in Toronto the other night.
Nice.
And he's a big fan of Creed, and we were just shooting the shit about that. But yeah, it's awesome that we build the connections that we do here on Pounding the Meat. And yeah, I guess we're bought, not built. But
According to the haters, yeah.
it's funny though. None of them. I'm waiting for actually a certain hater to hop on the comments. Just it's been a while. I don't watch any of these fucking shitty shows. I don't. I've got a life, like Joe said. I don't watch these nobodies.
I've taken a neutral stance for the longest on this, but at this point, it's like this. You're coming at a brand I helped build. This has been around. I have no personal beef with you until you make me have one. And right now, I'm choosing peace until you make me not choose peace. Stay in your lane. Do your podcast. We don't talk about you. We don't care about you. Just do your podcast. Some of you shouldn't be on a podcast.
Especially the guys that just sit there on their phone and don't know how to fucking conduct an interview or just, have those awkward 10-second silence moments when another host goes off.
I'm about to say there's just plenty of you who should not be on camera. Some of you have the charisma to do so, but you got some generic co-hosts dragging you down. Look in the mirror before you attack us.
This podcast saved my life.
Oh, man.
Just like the
I'm
hobby.
so busy with work.
Imagine being a grown-up, Joe, and having a job and being consumed by, your family and your job and spending time with your kids.
You know,
Did you guys have a nice Thanksgiving, by the way?
Yes,
dude. I did.
That's nice.
And what's crazy is I had two separate Thanksgivings, one at my mom's house, one at my dad's house. And me and my brother went to pick up 11-pound prime rib.
Oh, baby.
$126 later. But we had to drive to frickin' BFE to get it at this meat store. Dude, I spent money on my own because I'm in there and it's like a butcher shop. And I'm like, oh man, let me get these cheddar brats. Let me get these apple chicken brats. Let me get these honey barbecue smokies. I'm just like, oh my. You put me in a butcher shop and I'm spending money on farm, meat, healthy shit.
It's a way to go, bro.
But with everything that's going on with all this BS shit, that people want to stir.
That we don't talk about because we don't have time for it.
I'm busy with my job. I work 12-hour days. I work a week off a week. So I like to relax. But listen, I want to say I don't have no beef with anybody. I see it. I don't partake in it. A couple years ago, I would have. But
when we were all stuck at home and we had nothing better.
But I'll say this. Take the jabs all you want. Okay? Take the jabs. But I'll tell you this. There's going to be a time when someone's going to respond back and it will not be a jab. It's going to be the knockout punch. And don't get upset when somebody gets dirty and personal with some stuff.
I think it's inevitable when you continue to poke a bear. Eventually that bear is going to bite back.
Listen, man, I know probably after this, it's still going to happen. It's okay.
I think this conversation right now is going to give people some content. But I think it needs to be said because we've been quiet
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't talked about it publicly. But by all means, this is an open mic night. If anyone wants to jump into the comments, we're going to air everything tonight. Let's
And if
talk
anyone,
about whatever you guys want to talk about.
and just to clear the air on my end, if anyone's trying to figure out who I'm talking about the other podcast that's on right now. I'm talking to y'all directly. So keep PTM out your mouth. Like
Pretty simple.
that's my target. I'm shooting from the hip with them. So I'm letting you know who I'm going for. So normally I keep peace, but you chose violence. I'm reciprocating.
Hey,
I've been out of the loop. Like I've been out of the loop. I haven't watched much wrestling. I haven't watched any of these. I think Meltzer actually has more credibility than the people we're talking about.
man, why man Meltzer, man. Oh. I think there's enough people talking bad about Meltzer. I'm sure.
I'll say Meltzer got himself in trouble.
I'll tell you this. I watched Raw. Raw was fun. Watched Survivor Series this past Saturday.
It's a good show.
I enjoyed it. I don't know if we want to talk about that. We could. Air out any grievance. Talk about, like I said, comments. Anybody that wants to bring up a subject, they can.
Yeah.
But we could talk about Survivor Series.
Exactly. Talk about anything you want to.
Survivor Series was the first show I watched in a little while. It's been a minute since I've watched wrestling. I didn't tune into Full Gear.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't watch AEW for that.
I haven't watched Dynamite in a while. And when I'm looking at the highlights online, especially, yeah, man, I don't know what they're doing. Jones, you and I talked about bringing in Shelton Benjamin and how, you know, on the one hand, you're excited to see him on the screen because he's just so talented. He's been so underutilized for such a long time.
Dude, in AEW, that's Shelton Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks huge compared to that.
And then he lost to Kyle Fletcher last night.
Yeah, in the bracket.
Okay, granted, Kyle Fletcher cheated to win, but like, I get it. He's a heel, but for fuck's sake.
I'll bring this up. This right here is nothing more than. At first, I was pissed off about it, but I did a little research into it. Nia is scared of herself. Nia doesn't realize how strong she is, so she pulls back a lot on a lot of her stuff. And I respect her for that. It just looked bad, looked very bad. But a lot of the stuff that looked bad during Survivor Series, I blame on the cameraman. The cameraman, well, actually, no, the producer. Can't blame the cameraman. Cameraman's just shooting like he's supposed to. The producer should have had the camera switched so things didn't look as bad as they did.
Wait and see it. Yeah. You know, it's like, I'm watching it, and Candice LeRae, and I think I told you guys, I'm like, man, she's probably the weakest War Games, you know, person, you know, on a team, probably that I can remember. And I thought when she got in the cage, I'm like, okay, you know, she's doing her stuff. And then, like, when she did the moonsault on Bailey, she completely missed Bailey, like her arms and head. And I'm like, But I'm going to say this, even though I love her, I love me some Tiffy time. When she got in that cage, man, she held her own. She, you know, started doing some stuff.
That Swanton was, hats off to her, man.
Yeah, like, yo, like, I love Io Sky. I mean, I'm still going to call her Io Shirai, you know, from NXT, my NXT days.
Yeah.
But her jumping off the cage, man, she's done that in every War Games match. I just love it. You know, it was cool, you know.
And her at the press conference was hilarious to me.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that was amazing.
Like, who's going to be in your corner? I'm a member of Damage Control. Who else is going to be in my corner?
The whole press conference was hilarious. Like, even, like, Punk and Jay, you know, like muffins.
They brought them out two little macaroons. It's like,
Macaroons that were left over
yeah.
for Punk.
He's like, can I get some muffins?
But I
You know,
thought
yeah,
I thought they picked it up at the end. The women's,
Yeah.
they did.
But
They were in a tough spot. Opening
Yeah.
the card is never easy with a cage match with
Those
unpredictable spots.
those few spots aside that we highlighted, some of the botches, and it looked like Joe said, they picked up afterwards. It was a decent match if you take out those few isolated incidences, but it was pretty good. It was a fun pay-per-view, or PLE, but man, it was good. It opens up a lot of doors. Just generally speaking, we'll get into some of the other matches when in a moment, but it opens up so many doors, so many storylines, so many matches moving forward.
man,
Yeah, I was like, it was different. There was one thing I didn't like. Liv keeps getting pinned. I noticed that the champion doesn't always have to take that L, especially if you're continuing a feud.
you know what I would have did? I would have handcuffed Liv to the rope and did the move on Raquel.
But then she possibly would have gotten hurt again.
I know
Yes.
Mr. Beefy only heard you handcuffing Liv, and then everything else went silent. And that would have been
Went to
a
a
good
very
ending. Yeah.
dark space.
He'll be in the comments in the second watch.
But I agree. Raquel should have been the one.
Agreed. Yeah.
Dude, I am loving these teases of Stratton with the briefcase.
It's got to happen soon. That's got to happen.
But like the crowd just pops for her, like when and she's just looking like.
What do I do? It's now the time. Maybe she'll do it at the chamber.
She's gonna be the first female to fail. At this
Come
point.
on, don't do that
Wow.
to her.
No, but just think she's already held it the long. Has she held it the longest?
For the women?
Yeah. She's close.
I
Because the
can't
women
remember.
usually cash in pretty quickly.
It's a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
I know if she's unsuccessful, Joe will be very, very upset.
I will.
I was going to buy Joe the pink Money in the Bank briefcase.
Thank you.
It's Diffie time. And what was the second match?
Oh,
The U.S. title match?
I think so.
Great call.
A lot of people aren't happy with it. I am.
Bro, I'm ecstatic for it. Like, this
About
was
time
like,
Nakamura
you can't
wins
debut
something.
somebody. Well, not debut. Reintroduce somebody with a character like this and just have them lose again.
Yeah.
It's for no reason at all at this point. Like, at that point, just release the person who no longer wants to be there.
And Carmella is the one that held it the longest at like 287 days.
Okay.
Because remember, she won it the first time, and then there was like with James Ellsworth, and then they had it on SmackDown.
That's right.
That's when she grabbed it again. So, dude, I had no issue with Nakamura winning.
I enjoyed it. It was a clean victory. No
Yeah.
missed.
Yeah.
LA Knight just wasn't focused. Take advantage of the unfocused champion.
Absolutely.
LA Knight's better in the chase, anyways.
Yeah, I hate to compare him, but he's a Stone Cold type. Better in the chase than actually being champion.
Yeah. People are talking about his custom strap and how it came out right near the end of his run. It is what it is. People are still going to buy it. People are still going to want
If
it.
you noticed, he was just like, unfortunately, he was carrying a replica everywhere.
Yeah. So
Whatever. Hey. Head for Shinsuke.
Yeah.
I hope they book him to be a strong champion.
Yeah, reinvented his character,
Mm-hmm.
A dominant run.
I just give him a decent run. Don't at least let him get to February with it.
at the very least.
Yeah.
At the very least, so I'd like to
That's
see
oh yeah,
him.
that's Rumble. He can drop it at the Rumble.
Yeah. No issues.
After that, what did we have?
The triple threat IC, was it?
That quite possibly was the match of the night for me. Kaiser has it. Sheamus already had it.
Mhm.
And Braun is just ridiculous.
Oh yes, the more we see him on our television screens, and we haven't even seen him. He hasn't peaked yet, man. Like he's
Weird. He's just flying all over the place.
yeah.
I don't think he knows how good he is. And crazy thing is, he's still so young. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it reminds me of Lesnar when he came up in 02, but he was fast tracked. But you know, like he won the title in like less than 6 months after he debuted on the main roster. But Braun is like just.
There are parallels. I think it's not a stretch by any means, Joe.
But they're not going to rush him to the title. You know, they're going to slowly build it. I mean, Braun is just scratching the surface. And Ludwig, yo. Branching off from Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Ludwig. Yeah. Ludwig's got it.
They have a lot of young guys who have not yet transitioned from that mid card, or haven't had the spotlight on them just yet. That the future's very bright for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
WWE is in good hands, and then moving into the new era in 2025, like the sky's the limit for so many of these young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Braun as IC, even though he held it for like a little bit and then he lost to the J, but then got it back. How long of a run do you give him? You know, I mean, do you give him like a long run? Not close to anything Gunther, because what Gunther did was remarkable. Gunther had very good matches, amazing matches as the IC champ. Like even the WrestleMania match with him and Zayn, even with him, Sheamus and Drew, I think it was at WrestleMania the year before, I think it was. Like that, like Gunther was just on a tear with that IC title.
That triple threat match at Mania was one of the best triple threat matches.
Hard hitting. Oh.
Yeah. Might be one of my top 5. Like that was an incredible match.
But that's where I'm like, damn, how long do you give Braun? Like with this title?
I'd probably say you give Braun right about Mania. Or maybe he drops at the Royal Rumble as well. Depending upon, he drops at the Royal Rumble, goes in, has a good showing.
And who's he dropping to, do you think? Because they're finally using this title again to elevate.
I'm trying not the fantasy book, but if a certain someone debuts as a face until their brother arrives, I say put either the IC or the US title on him and give him a decent run till his brother arrives.
Pretty good, man. That'd be really good.
Interesting. I like that. I could see that.
For those that are not in the know.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed if he held till Mania. I'm just trying to figure out.
There's a few pieces to the puzzle that have to
fall into place,
fit, right, and fall into place before, because Braun's definitely going to get that big push after he does drop the IC.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Well, when's the draft?
It depends, because I keep hearing rumors that the brand split's ending.
In some ways, I think it makes the most sense for it to end if Netflix is going to push for some of the big guys to show up on their show, right? If they want Roman and Punk.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you just introduced 2 women's titles.
Right.
And they've been brand exclusive.
You got the news that Pat McAfee's coming back WWE full time.
I don't know how to take that, because I like the chemistry of what's going on currently. Are you going to a 3-man team, or are you going to two? And if so, where's the third person going?
How does this work? Like, yeah, like, is it going to be Tessitore, Barrett, and McAfee, or is it going to be McAfee and Cole?
I don't know.
I'm saying Tessitore shouldn't go anywhere. He earned this spot.
I think I agree with that.
Um,
I like Tessitore.
Mr. Beefy says so many titles for there not to be a brand split. Only missing is a second women's tag titles. You know, we're very critical of AEW, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we are critical of AEW with is the abundance of titles that are on screen, both on the AEW roster and when they carry over any of the Ring of Honor belts, and when they show belts from other promotions on their television screens. Now there are 2 mid-card women's titles, and I think Mr. Beefy makes a good point. If there's not a brand split, yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose of having those exclusive women's titles, one that's currently on Raw, one currently on SmackDown. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Netflix's call with what they want, and Hunter's going to have to I think abide to a lot of that in terms of the creative practices.
you gotta abide to them, but the same token, you have to keep USA happy.
Because yeah, I know eventually everything is likely going to be on Netflix, but for the time being, you can't just completely leave US in the dark.
Exactly.
But when you look at what happened last week on SmackDown with even the Roman and Punk sit down before the event, right? Like, I know it was a holiday, Thanksgiving holiday weekend in the States, and numbers certainly were affected across the board with everyone. But that was the top segment of the night.
Exactly. Then let's see. We got the main event left, and that's it.
No, you had Gunther and Priest.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gunther and Priest.
I'm indifferent about this match.
In what way?
I didn't like the way Gunther was booked early on in the match.
That's fair.
I get him getting in his own head from the loss to Cody. You're 43-3. What really are we talking about? I get kind of why you incorporate Finn in this, but like Gunther said and addressed on Raw, I needed this clean victory, and you took it from me. I'm glad they at least addressed that on Raw. Because I get it, he's moving on to a feud with Finn now, but at the same token, that means Priest is going to interfere again. And
Make it a triple threat at Mania.
Rumble. Maybe this
Saturday
we got a
night's
second Saturday night's main event in January.
What's that, the 26th?
Yeah, week before the Rumble.
And the Rumble's the first.
Yeah, that's
the February, so
could definitely be.
Because when I saw like Finn versus Gunther is gonna have a match, I'm like, is Gunther now face? Like, like,
yeah, it's weird. They've been doing some weird things. He's kind of sort of a face, but at the
Well,
same time,
after he spit in Bill Goldberg's face, in my books, he is
he's still a face.
I like the match. I thought it was like kind of like a little classic in the beginning. A little classic old school feel, like little technical, a little brawling, little power,
Priest has improved a lot.
I think
He's created a problem for them.
I think they make Priest versus Balor for the first Saturday night's main event. Because you got to have them fight each other. They haven't yet.
I thought Gunther and
is it him and Balor on that?
I thought that was well, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but that's what the direction I thought they were going in.
But but I would figure like at least you would have a Priest versus Balor match. You haven't had that. That's been building for like 5 months at least.
They need to have an all-out brawl. Just kill each other. Let it all out.
Maybe it'll be those two at Mania. Don't know.
I don't know if you can draw that out that long.
No.
You'd almost have to do a brand, put them on separate brands for something like that.
Yeah.
Similar to Ripley and Liv Morgan. Like, how much longer is that feud gonna go on?
Need a blow off for that.
So that storyline is starting to play out, and I think they got to wrap it up soon. I wouldn't push it till Mania, Rumble at the latest.
The redundancy is definitely overkill.
Yeah,
you're looking like the other company just on Wednesdays.
Dude.
Speaking of which, do you see the ratings? Man, they're lucky to hit 600 now.
Yeah, this is.
I saw NXT did a low rating with Bischoff. People are blaming Bischoff for that.
Which is ironic, just because Bischoff has talked so much shit about AEW. He comes on, and NXT draws one of their lowest ratings in a while. So,
but it was still good ratings for CW.
Yep, that it was. The thing with AEW, though, when you look at what they were at even a year ago at this time, they were still averaging, and I think in the month of December, 820,000 views in a year. And 2 years ago, they had approximately 100,000 or so more. They were averaging close to 1 million during 2021 and 2022. And now they're lucky to be getting 600,000 views. What's the bottom of the barrel for the network?
Well,
because I know they just re-signed. Everyone's talking about all the money that they're going to be making and the profits and
then the max deal.
And the max deal.
Yeah.
But like, what's the lowest that they're going to hit before the network does get upset?
Well, the network likes those numbers. They're happy with what they're doing, which I don't know how.
I don't know either. Throwing all this money at them, and yet they're going lower and lower. And the key demo last night was the lowest, I think, ever.
Imagine if they had WCW in year 2000, like how good they would feel right now.
Honestly.
WCW in the year 2000 was still getting 2 million views.
And the max is gonna, like, I know there's ways to, even with Netflix, there are ways that those networks are going to be able to show how many views people are tuning in on Netflix or on Max, for example. I wonder if they'll be releasing those numbers to the public when they make that switch. But for those who don't have Max, for example, it is going to affect their cable numbers even more.
Yeah, I mean, maybe AEW will get a boost when the second greatest Canadian wrestler behind Chris Jericho comes back.
And what gets as much and fights what in New Japan?
Yeah, first.
As much as I love Omega, I hate to say how much longer before he gets injured again and he can't wrestle because his health has declined significantly.
The first time he gets jumped by the Death Riders.
Fuck, that storyline needs to end. That's the other thing. Tony Khan gives Moxley the green light with all of this shit. Who's going to tell Moxley just to stop this fucking horrible storyline?
Oh, man.
It's not even his fault. I don't understand why they since this technically is their biggest storyline, why aren't they just destroying people? Like Mox, you were part of the Shield.
Mm-hmm. And now they're pushing Claudio after all this time. They booked Claudio horribly. And I still have a spot for Claudio, but they have ruined him. That when he's on now, I don't give a shit what he's doing. He's not believable. And then he beats Darby Allin a couple weeks back or whatever. Like, fuck.
I can't. It's
dude, it's so cringy. It's so, the segments are horrible. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, like, when Omega does come back, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. They still think that MJF is the top guy that he was even a couple of years ago. Look at what they're doing with Max.
Yeah.
It's gone down so bad. I can't even force myself to watch this shit. If we've got a show coming up and we're gonna review wrestling and all that, yeah, I'll do my best to watch it. But like, just for leisure, I can't do it, man.
It's really bad.
Now contrast that with the last match on the Survivor Series card.
Yes. The final War Games match.
Take a guy like Bronson Reed and what they've done with him in a short period of time. That's how you build stars.
Yeah.
That's how you make a guy who was just in limbo for quite some time, and you elevate him with what they did with Seth Rollins. And now pairing with the new bloodline and fitting in the way he does. And dude, a guy that size, a man that big taking a spot like that, holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but
I was telling my brother while watching, I'm like, Bronson kind of reminds me like a little bit of Bam Bam in him. You know, for a big guy to move, but you know,
I can see it. I can see it for a man that size. The way he moves, there's certainly elements of Bam Bam.
coming off the top rope, you know, splash like Bam Bam with the headbutt.
yeah, the one-legged jump is basically more of a push-off.
And then,
I think that's potentially is what hurt him because he wasn't able to do the one-legged push-off.
When you see the other angles that some of the fans also recorded, oh my goodness,
Well,
I felt the pain.
if you look at the main angle they showed on TV, look directly under the table, you can see the angle.
Yeah. How much does Bronson weigh?
About 350, 370, something like that.
If not closer to 4, right? He's a big boy. Gravity.
In person, he's not that big though.
I mean,
On TV, he looks like a really large individual.
In person, I feel like I'm bigger than him.
Wow.
I mean, look at Jimmy. Like Jimmy injured his, you know.
Well, yeah, a toe injury is easy and very detrimental.
Sure. Yeah.
Because depending upon, like, actually, it don't even matter which toe it is. Pushing off, I hope it's not his big toe.
You know what? People are gonna keep thinking Jacob's getting injured when he's faking these things.
I credit him for taking the know-what-all to sell it just in case.
Oh, he sold that thing, man.
Yeah. It was almost panic mode for me. I was like, really?
Yeah. Jones message. He's like, I swear to God, he better be fucking selling. And Jones never gets that upset.
Because he's right at the cusp.
Yeah.
He's at the cusp right now.
Because it looked like he was like. You remember when we were at SummerSlam and he did the spot and we're like, oh.
Jones, your heart must have sunk, bro.
It was already a rough day, and then that made it even worse. I was like, come on.
But it was a good match overall. Like,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. They did everything they needed to do, and seeing, the Punk Roman feud kind of play out in that match the way it did from when they were the cage together.
That's so good. Roman just side-eyeing Punk.
Yeah.
And then those two, I mean, when Tama Tonga entered first and he's climbing the cage, reminded me of Super Mario, when he's climbing the cage. But I liked it. The Punk and Roman interactions, like,
very entertaining.
It just sets up, perfectly for what they're going forward.
Yeah.
I love Solo going out on his shield. Man, I'm just.
Roman was like, bring it in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But Heyman, I thought the new bloodline was gonna win. I thought Heyman was gonna turn something.
You fell for the suit with the
No, I just had like a feeling.
Yeah.
But then when Punk, Heyman gives Punk the hug, Punk's like talking about the favor. Roman just ignores his ass, and I'm like, oh.
See the look he kind of gave him afterwards. Yeah.
Because he gave him the kiss of death hand on her face.
Yeah. And I know they were pushing, and I know Roman really wants to put Jacob over, and he wants to have that one-on-one match with him, possibly at Mania. But with the direction that things are going right now, with how hot the product is and how popular Roman and Punk are together on screen, them one-on-one at Mania might be that moment that Punk has always been looking for. That main event he's been looking for at
Will it
WrestleMania.
be Punk versus Rollins or Punk versus Roman?
See, there's so many storylines
Yeah.
that they can do at this point, because I'm not going to completely write out Fatu versus Roman, because that's money too. I want to see Jacob just go on a tear.
That'll probably be SummerSlam. Remember, SummerSlam's 2 nights now.
And
That's
you also
right.
got Hikuleo. Well, he's going to NXT first, and then who's the other one?
Lance.
Zilla?
Lance. That's right, Lance and Awahi.
Hikuleo technically debuted this week, in my opinion.
Oh, you thought he's the one that attacked Eddie Thorpe? Gotcha.
That makes sense. But yeah, man, there's so many directions that they can go after Survivor Series.
What I love is because you're on the road to Rumble and then Mania.
Yeah.
I was telling Jones about this. Dude, Rumble, like, it's going to be amazing at the Rumble because you're going to have probably Roman in there. Punk, Jay, Seth Rollins, Cena, Solo, Jacob. Like, it's going to be packed with stars.
I've talked to someone who swears The Rock's going to win it.
Ooh, you think The Rock?
Wow.
I don't think The Rock's going to win the Royal Rumble. He doesn't need it.
Who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
Will he be in the Rumble? Because as of right now, there's no plans for him apparently for WrestleMania.
Yeah. But
I think this is a smoking gun.
But unless his schedule changes, then they
I truly think this is a smoking gun. I would never admit that The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania right now either.
Yeah. You got to keep it on the DL.
But his target is like, all things considered, his target was I was inaccurate in who I thought his target was.
So, here's the thing. If you have Rock versus Cody at Mania, and then you have Roman versus Punk at Mania, is Roman versus Punk going to be for the title?
I think it's inevitable for Punk to become the World Heavyweight Champion.
So you're going to have Roman take the belt off Gunther?
I think Punk's taking it off of him.
I think Punk is going to be the one to take it off of Gunther and then tie Roman into it.
So I think it could be Punk versus Gunther at Mania, and he wins.
That could happen too.
And then Roman wins Chamber and picks Punk. Or what if Roman says, no, I want my title back with Cody, and it's a triple threat?
Dude, look, see, like, there's so many
And then
things.
you have Rollins versus Punk, like originally
Right?
planned.
You've got that too. And will that be for the title? It depends if Punk wins it prior to. If Punk wins it at the Rumble, for example, or if he wins it at, who knows? But I think it's going to happen. I need some Punk side plates too for my replica. And yeah, man, it's going to be a very interesting year, 2025, with the shift to Netflix, with this abundance of storylines, the star power, like you said, Joe, all those guys in the ring at the same time. Cena's last year.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Does Cena break the record?
That's like,
I want to see him win it.
do you have him win the Rumble?
Right?
And face Gunther at Mania? Like, there's possibilities with all these guys in the Rumble. Like, it's going to be very interesting.
Justin Michaels makes an interesting comment. Since we're on the topic of Punk, with all the stuff that's come out, do you guys think that Punk has serious mental health issues because he seems to be the problem and is playing the victim as always? If you watch the AEW scrum, he made sure that the cameras and everybody he hated was there, where he could throw a child tantrum and destroy the credibility of the company.
Who wants to go
Freebird jumps
first?
in. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
All right. No, I don't think Punk has mental health issues. Um, Look at it this way: if you're going to point the blame at anybody, you got to start at the top. Who was there when all this was going on? Tony Khan. Tony Khan could have had his mic cut off. Tony Khan just sat there. Who was there when all this other stuff? Like, I'll even go a little deeper. I don't know if everybody's even heard about this, but Ryan Nemeth has a lawsuit on the table.
For those of you who don't know who Ryan Nemeth is, that is the brother of the current TNA champion, Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler in WWE.
And contrary to some of the marks out here, he was not. He made reference to issues that he had with Punk. He brought it up to upper management. He brought it up to the EVPs. He brought it up to Moxley. It was brought up to Tony Khan. Have you heard anything before about this? Before this, really? You heard a little. You heard a little rumbling before about an incident between him and Punk, but you ain't hear anything to now that he's gone.
Who said that Punk wanted to be the locker room leader?
Technically, he was a leader. Quiet as this kept.
Technically, he had other titles in
Yes.
AEW that were revealed with Ryan Nemeth's story that just recently came out that many of us had no idea.
But
He had 2 contracts.
here's my thing: like Punk helped a lot of the wrestlers, but he also had a lot of issues. I mean, you had one with Jack Perry, but there's other people like Bully Ray has said he's had issues with Jack Perry, and he would punch Jack Perry if he saw him because he tried to give Jack Perry advice, and Jack Perry did not want to listen.
And that's another common thing that has been said about a few of the talent in AEW. When you do have these guys who have been in the business for a number of years, that do have some veteran experience, that do have some knowledge and wisdom to share with these younger guys, if you're not willing to take that information from these senior wrestlers that have been around the block, that have been in various promotions, who have helped to build wrestling what it is today in many respects, I'd love to hear what Punk has to say. I'd love to hear what a lot of the veterans in AEW, either currently or in past, who are no longer with the company, would have to say. You've got a guy like Jake Roberts there. You've got a guy like Paul White there. I don't know how he's still employed with AEW. I don't know what they're paying him to do, but like you've got these guys that have been in the business for decades. And
complained about people not listening.
Yeah. And someone's got to step up. Someone's got to step up when you look at how AEW is run with or without a guy like CM Punk. Why is it that, and I don't want to go on a tangent about Punk because we've talked a lot about CM Punk and AEW over months and months. And it's kind of like beating the dead horse. But because this story has come up recently and all the dirt sheets are running with it, look at where AEW is at right now, currently. Is it a better promotion? Is it a better product without CM Punk?
No. You don't have eyes on it. Like here's a perfect example. You created this huge story for MJF and Adam Cole. Yes, Adam Cole got hurt. It kind of put a damper on the story. But at the same token, when he comes back, the story is just basically dropped. And now all of a sudden, Cole's the face. MJF is back to being a heel. Make it make sense.
I find this comment interesting. He didn't want to work with any of the people involved with Cabana and the Bucks, and that's childish to me. And yet, Freebird in WWE, there's a lot of real life heat with guys like Seth Rollins. There's real life heat with guys like Roman Reigns. There's real life heat with people that are friends with the Bucks. Kevin Steen, Sami Zayn. And yet you look at what's unfolded over the last few weeks and few months. They're professionals and they're able to put their feelings aside for
make
the
money.
sake of the product.
And it has recently come out that Punk backstage has been awesome with WWE. No issues at all.
At every level, from the very, very top with guys
Yeah.
like Hunter, you see his interactions with Stephanie, and look at the things that him and Stephanie have said in past. And you see that backstage before he debuted last year's Survivor Series, and them hug and shake hands and smile and kiss and make up. Punk went on so many tangents about WWE and what WWE did to him. And it's a very different promotion than what it is today.
I mean, you hear Punk say the difference between Triple H in charge and Vince in charge. It's night and day, where like you would have to wait outside of Vince's office, where honey, you could just walk up, pitch an idea.
Exactly.
And I mean, Triple H has said, like, you know, like when Punk was saying like how everything backstage that I've been fighting for is different now than it was back then. And Triple H echoed that. He said we were fighting for the same stuff, but we just didn't know it at the time because, you know, they weren't as close. You know?
When you've got strong personalities, when you've got large egos, you're going to clash. It's only natural for that to happen. And yeah, a Hunter focused run WWE is very different than what Vince was doing with Punk's last run when he was with the promotion. And when you look at the circus over at AEW, and I think all of us on screen either were fans of AEW or still are to a very slight degree fans of AEW in terms of just enjoying the wrestling. When you look at what is going on in that product right now, there's a reason why a lot of the hardcore AEW fans, the diehards, are falling off and are not supporting the product anymore.
When Punk went back to WWE, I was like, I don't see there are any issues because it's structure there. Look at WWE compared to AEW in this instance. AEW, there was a lot of fights. Punk and Jack Perry, I get it, you know, and the brawl out, you know, and there's been instances with other wrestlers, you know, as well with each other. When's the last time you heard about that in WWE?
They were calling for bets when Punk debuted the last Survivor Series as to how long, and even Drew brought it up in some of his promotions, right? How long is he going to fuck up? How long before he gets fired, right? And, you know, they were using those kayfabe storylines as part of their, and yet, look, like you said, Joe, it's been nothing but open arms and positive vibes and nothing but good things to say about. And I don't think anyone here is necessarily defending what Punk did in AEW. Yes, it was extremely unprofessional. But when your boss doesn't do anything about it, allows for it, and then here's the thing: why didn't Tony Khan get them all together, sit them down, and make money? Or Punk was eventually let go and fired from the company. Why didn't Punk and Omega have that match? Why didn't Punk and FTR team up against Omega and the Bucks, for example? Because there was a meeting that was supposed to happen, and guess who canceled it? The Bucks did. When you look at when the Bucks are on television right now, it's one of the low, and they're taking a hiatus for a period of time. But when they are on screen, the viewership continues to go down. And AEW at this point, and we all want to see AEW survive. We all want to.
I told you what I think they're building towards. Bucks, Page, and Omega versus the Death Riders in a blood and guts match.
Yeah, so they can come back and save it.
Yeah.
Yep. And yet, here's a prediction or a spoiler, depending on how you take it. It's not going to move the needle at all. When the Bucks eventually come back, no one is going to care. Maybe in their mind that they think that, with our absence, the heart grows fonder. I don't think it's going to be significant at all.
Freebird, man, I feel like you're like an AEW like #1 fan. Like Tony Khan and them can do no wrong with you.
And you know what, Freebird, there's nothing wrong with being a diehard fan of any promotion. Buck, I got 2 AW belts behind me and a shit ton of figures that are probably just losing value as as we speak. But dude, like AW needs leadership, and that leadership is not coming from Tony Khan. And as long as Tony Khan, in my opinion, is in charge, and who am I? I'm just a fan on a podcast speaking my opinion. But a lot of people share this sentiment, and as long as TK is involved, especially with the creative process, nothing's going to change. And it's going to continue to go down.
Freebird, I'm going to go a little heel on you. I'm going to pull a Kofi Kingston. So what? This is a problem that should have been addressed by the boss. I understand if he was having issues with his mother's health. I'm not knocking that. But on the same token, that's why you have other people in positions of power as well to assist you. Instead, he didn't relinquish the power in order for someone else to do something.
I'd like to also address, why is Colt Cabana not on television right now?
If it was come on, Tony Khan was having family problems. Come on, man, don't bring that BS here, dude. Y'all are just talking out of your ass right now, man. Okay, I'm sorry.
Where was this when people like the beloved Hulk Hogan were using creative control, holding people back? When the beloved Shawn Michaels was using it to hold people back, like, keep the same energy.
When you look at Hunter, when you look at Shawn, for example, who are now running the show, DX is in charge. People, I think, quickly forget just how hated they were. How hated the clique were.
I just find it funny. Punk went after everybody because Tony Khan was having family problems. Come on, man. I'm sorry, man.
I think Tony Khan's a nice guy. Tony Khan's just a nice guy, and he wants to be everybody's friend. And you can't, if you're a boss or you're in a position of power, you got to accept the fact that you can't be everybody's friend. You have to. Here you go.
How come Punk's not having those issues in WWE? Mm-hmm. Tell me this in the comments, huh?
When you're dealing, it's a difference when you're dealing with adults and children.
Yeah. AEW has no structure.
Their matches don't have structure. Even at
Nothing
that level,
has structure.
There's no structure there.
WWE has structure. WWE has writers. They have producers. Mm-hmm. Everything is set. You know what it is. AEW, you don't. Okay? It's just going into a fishbowl and just pulling something random out.
Even the way the matches are constructed, it's all over the place.
Oh man, he was old when he was in AEW. Don't give me that shit, dude.
Dude, he's old. He's older now.
I swear, man. I think they're just trolling right now, man. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they're like 10-year-olds who should be in bed going to school. I don't know.
I think regardless of whether you love Punk or you hate Punk, okay, he's a very polarizing figure.
Here's the thing: WWE is not under investigation. Vince McMahon is,
and Linda,
and it's not them.
You got to figure
who doesn't watch wrestling.
TKO didn't exist back in the days when you look at the scandals that are coming to light. TKO is a very new entity. That's why Linda McMahon has separated herself from her former husband because of her position right now in the Trump administration. Everyone wants to separate themselves from Vince McMahon for those obvious reasons.
I'm not a mark for Punk, man. I'm a fan of him, but yeah, he did fight the Bucks. So what? He went after people. That's freaking life, okay? Get over with it and deal with it. You're saying someone has mental issues because he went after someone that's friends with somebody. Come on, man.
I'd like to know your credentials, Freebird, for diagnosing mental health issues based on what we see on a
Who got let go in the company? People get let go all the time.
What you saying?
Yeah. This dude's a troll, man.
It's it's open mic night.
Yeah,
so
it is.
We're here to entertain this kind of.
But this is entertaining. Like, this dude is entertaining.
It's funny. Bret Hart punched Vince McMahon in the face on the
I
night
don't
of
get
the
hurt, but keep going, man. I know
so
it's a fake thing.
dude, it's funny.
It's a fake name. I can
Wrestling is
tell it's a
these
fake
things.
name.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for there's a lot of fake names in this world in the
Yeah.
IWC. So no, dude, like it's funny whether you love Punk or you hate Punk. The fact remains that he's a draw. He brings numbers. He's got
It
the number
happens.
one T-shirts for periods of time. He's got the number one action figures on Ringside Collectibles. You can hate the guy all you want. Mike Jones has openly said numerous times on the show how much he hates Hulk Hogan, or more so Terry Bollea as a human being. But he can also identify and say that Hulk Hogan's a draw and one of the biggest draws in wrestling. You can hate the guy all you want, but you're not going to just completely discredit him for how he is as a performer on our screens. Hulk Hogan or Terry Bollea as a human being has done horrible things, has said horrible things. And yet, if you have studied wrestling or have watched wrestling for a number of years, I don't want to use the word despite all of those things because it seems like I'm lessening all of the horrible things that Terry has said and done. But Hulk Hogan, the performer, and Hulk Hogan, the character in the WWF and WCW, is arguably the biggest draw of all time. And that's just the way it is.
If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be even be able to have shows like this right now. He
Wrestling
brought
wouldn't be what it
attention
is today
to
if it
wrestling.
wasn't for Hulk Hogan. Let's be frank. And I'm not saying Hulk Hogan and CM Punk are on the same level. Absolutely not. Hulk Hogan is in a league of his own in terms of the mountains that he was able to move within the wrestling business. But you can dislike someone, you can dislike a character, you can dislike a person, but you can still acknowledge that they have an impact in this profession.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Punk and what he did in AEW was very impactful on the one hand, and yet it was also detrimental for the morale, and it was very unprofessional how things unfolded on television. And to Joey and Jones's point before, they could have cut Punk's mic during the brawl out. Dude, I'm not even going to acknowledge that fucking comment.
But say that name I can't mention on air.
No.
However, it's a whole different situation.
And you know that. The trolls are coming out. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
I get what you're
I know what
doing.
you're saying, man.
I appreciate it. But
Thanks for watching, Ethan.
one unalived his family,
Yeah.
and the other
It's just
is a racist.
piece of shit. But
Neither one of them are good humans, but
apples and oranges, my friend.
it's levels.
Now,
Like Heyman
without
said.
naming his name, because we made this pact,
Yeah.
right? We're not going to talk about that individual's name. When talking about him as a performer,
Yes.
yes, absolutely, his name will be mentioned in terms of how talented he was in
I
the
can't
ring.
even do that anymore. I'm like Paul Heyman. Once that happened, he lost all credibility with me.
And that's a fair
Heyman says,
position.
as a performer, top 5 he's ever seen.
Yeah.
But as a person, F him.
And the conversation ends there because when you do something that horrible, yeah, Jones, I get your point, man. It's even hard to acknowledge that slight positive praise or whatnot.
Come on, man. Come on. It's open mic night. Come on. Keep
Like,
going, man.
let's keep going. This is fun. We're gonna wrap up soon. We haven't been on in a few weeks.
We'll
It's
be
hard
back
for
next
us
Wednesday.
to. What's that?
We'll be back next Wednesday on our
That's
new
it.
night.
We are moving. We're moving nights. Wednesday nights.
I wasn't consulted on this, so
Apologize.
He
Due,
just
due to the way life is lifed and things have changed for me at work, Wednesdays became much more feasible.
Joe, the head of the meat he spoke, and I just followed orders.
I thought he was joking at first when he told me. I'm like, you serious?
When he told me, Joe, we didn't have this conversation, you and I. When he told me, he just told me straight. He's like, yeah, we're moving. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. It is what it is.
The way he said it, like it sounded like a joking, like, and I'm like, oh, okay, LOL.
No
And then when I
joke.
saw it, I'm like, wait, what? Like, excuse me.
I know. I've made my post after I got the green light from Jones. I didn't just take it upon myself and take creative control of PTM, since I'm the things that these people say that
Does
I am.
Vinny know about these changes?
Who's Vinny? Where is this man? He's gonna pop up live on Saturday. That's what
I've been waiting for him to play me in Madden again, man. I've been like, come on, man, let's go. He's like, all right, we're gonna play, man. I'm gonna F you up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just know we're here to have fun.
That's it, man.
We only want to have fun,
and we don't want beef with him. Like, we're not going out of our way.
Yeah.
We kind of just come full circle. We're not going out of our way to talk shit about anybody. That's the thing that kills me with everything that's unfolded over the last few weeks and few months. You don't hear us uttering anybody's name or taking any shots at people. We had our fun at the beginning of the show, but like,
oh, just know I meant everything I said about
100%.
the show on Thursday.
Absolutely, fuck them.
You've got Thursdays now. Let's see what your viewership looks like.
You can leave it better as you found it. Is that the line?
Mm-hmm.
But that's ironic when that line is said. The irony of it, when you look at the people who are involved with a lot of the podcast drama or hobby nonsense, it's the same people that fucking use these kind of catchphrases.
And I'm going to say this, and I really don't care if somebody comes after me. My inbox is open. Most of you know me. You're friends with me on Facebook. I haven't deleted anybody.
I have. I've blocked all of them because they're all fucking idiots.
I haven't deleted anybody. Here's the thing. This is not a shot at you. I actually look up to you. You're actually one of the people I respect on this show. However, you can't say keep it sucker free if you're surrounded by suckers.
Damn. Oh.
Watch the company you keep. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck, man, it's cold outside, isn't it here? Oh.
It's chilly. It's chilly. But you know what? It's true. You surround yourself with the people that you surround yourself with is very telling about who you are as a person. And when you just kind of sit back and you're trying to act like you're better than other people, or that you're not about the drama, when all you guys do is promote drama. And the funniest thing that I did hear when the whole fake profile of me was running rampant for the while, and they were like, "Oh no, don't make fake profiles of people." Oh, but that one's funny. I find all of it funny because these guys are fucking pushing 60 years of age and they're still doing this shit.
I get it. Like, if I'm not here to fight, but again, y'all poke the bear. I tried to be.
Carmine,
good.
if you're listening, Thursdays is yours now.
You keep talking. Like, I've been quiet. I usually don't say anything. Like,
oh man,
I'm going to do this. This is me saying this. This is Mike Jones saying this.
Mike Jones.
I'm going to shout out the podcast I actually respect right now. Some of them, they may take I've seen jabs from them, but until I can prove anything, I'm not going after them. I'm going to put it this way. There's a podcast that just moved to Saturdays. If you got rid of one of your hosts, you'd be great. And I'm not saying anything I haven't said to them. I guess I don't do subtlety or innuendos. I'm going to say it like this. Tony, stop podcasting.
Cool.
Just stop. You have no dog in the fight. So shout out to Ethan. Shout out to Kevin. Double drop kick is very, very well produced. You're giving some good shining to people that otherwise would be unknown in the hobby. Um, let's see.
I'm gonna jump in for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any issues with Kevin Davenport or Ethan Thompson, despite what people might say or kind of spread. Um, and I've told you guys this directly. And Ethan and I haven't spoken. And Ethan, if you're still watching, I'll say this to you straight, man. I got nothing against you as a person. I know things kind of went sour, and it is what it is. Maybe we'll chat one day, but so long as people keep my name in their mouth and keep spreading their shit, dude, like I've taken the position where I just block now. I don't care anymore. But I think Kevin is doing a great job with his show, and I think Ethan is doing his thing, and you can tell that he's happy, and that's all. That's all I hope for Ethan. Just hope you're happy, bro. I hope you're doing well and that everything is right with you. But these guys that take this stuff too seriously and come after us and make their comments and everything else, like it's not worth it, bro.
Just wish people would stop bringing up the views and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
worry about your own stuff.
If you want views, learn to advertise your podcast. Learn to use Google correctly. It's pretty simple. There's no buying of views when you know how to use the means that are out there to advertise your show. But you can say what you want. You can say we're built not bought and whatever nonsense. I know that's a shot at us. But you know what? Like it's not buying views, bro, when you know how to fucking advertise. And even Vinny talked about that. So but here I am. I took over and I kicked Ethan out, right? That's what I did. Fucking stupid that you guys take this
I'm just
shit
enjoying
seriously.
myself. Got a picture with the newly elected US senator, you know.
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
The funny thing is,
I can't wait till Canada becomes the 51st state.
so it's crazy.
Oh,
So,
I
you know, I'm on lunch at work, okay?
Come on, guys, you know I can't.
I'm in the
talk
food
politics.
court. Listen how this happened. This is great. So I'm in the food court with my team. We're sitting down, and he's right there next to us. And I knew exactly who he was, you know. I met him once before, like very small interaction. And the team member next to me is his like name was on his coat, and they're like, "Yo," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know who he is." And so I didn't want to bother him because he's eating his lunch, and then he's on the phone. Then he goes to get up and leave, and I'm like, "Hey, congrats, sir, on being elected." He goes, "Thanks," and then I was like, "Hey, do you know who this person?" I mentioned my mother's name. He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm her son." He goes, "No way." He goes, "Dude, you got to take a picture with me." He goes, "She will be mad if I do not get a picture with you." Because like I'm terrified of this woman. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So I took a picture with him because the day of the election, my mom was with him at his press conference in the morning.
Sweet.
And then she, so.
No, that's awesome, man.
So,
That's
yeah,
really-
it was fun. And then I met another dude, this one dude, his name is Stefan Johnson. He does voiceovers for a lot of stuff, and he does a lot of
Who's
reels.
talking about the food critic from?
Yeah, the black
he's
dude.
local for you, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I saw him at the airport. So I walk out, I'm like, "Yo, Stefan," I'm like, "Hey, man, I love, man, dude, when he does these food, like, reviews, it's hilarious." And I'm like, "Oh, I love your reviews." He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" I tell him my name. He's like, "Oh, man, nice to meet you. Thanks." Like, he was cool as shit.
He's still humble.
Dude.
That's what it's all about.
Dude.
That's awesome when you meet someone who has gotten to that level or that status or that's that celebrity, and they're still genuine and it hasn't gone to their head and they're still able to have those conversations and yeah.
But it's funny because like I didn't initiate picture with the U.S. senator. I'm like, he's like, "Oh, take a picture with me, man. Send it to your mom." Like, all right, cool. So,
you know who's still like that? Cody Rhodes. Just to bring it back to wrestling, Cody Rhodes, despite his fame, is still a genuine human being.
Mm-hmm.
The last I met him was when AEW was just about to start up, and I know obviously a lot has changed since then. But when I met him and Brandy with my brother and my wife, like the nicest people that you could ever want to meet. Now the Bucks, on the other hand, completely arrogant and were walking around like they were, the biggest guys in the room.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude.
So,
So so did Jones and you did. I don't get that comment.
I think Ethan was trying to be funny that Jones and I kicked him out.
Oh,
Maybe that's what he was referring to.
if he doesn't know, Carmine is nobody. Oh shit.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Y'all are wild.
I have no malice towards anybody. I have love for everyone. I love some more than others, and they know that.
That's where you're a better person than I am, Jones.
Leave me and what I do be, and the love will continue. Come after me. I'm able to talk. You can come talk to me. Oh wow, he's serious. He does. He did meet a dude that holds his bike on his head for money on the corner.
It's pretty impressive.
Like no hands. Like he's holding the bike with
like
the cart,
balancing it on his
on his head.
Impressive. I hope you tipped him, Ethan. That's pretty cool. But we're just here to have fun, man.
Yeah.
Just like when I run raffles in our group that people are crying about too. At least I can fill the raffles, unlike some people. But
when is there a black logo Big Eagle gonna be up?
It's coming up. There's also a winged eagle coming up. There's an IC coming up. But it's a holiday season. The holiday season.
I found that dual, picture. I found it when I went through my messages with AJ.
Yeah,
so
I was happy to see that.
I remember
man.
I sent it to him after I got it, and so I'm looking at
tipped him.
Huh?
So he tipped and it was well worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, dang.
I haven't seen that picture in a long time, Joe.
Good collector has it, so
I got you, Mr. Beefy. We got some businesses to discuss anyway.
I'm out, okay? I'm not.
You say that you're out, but if I help to raffle a belt, Joe, and it's a winged eagle or a block logo Big Eagle, you're telling me you're not going to buy a spot?
Yes, I would.
See, so you're not completely out of the game.
So I told Jones this. There's two belts.
Talking about the belt.
There's two belts I would buy. The one Gunther has, the World, and the UFC Legacy belt. Some people don't like it, the replica. Some people don't like it. I'm sorry,
You're a UFC guy, though, so
yeah.
different.
So
it makes sense.
But the block logo Big Eagle, I'm man, I've had it, sold it, but there's something about that blue, that WWF block logo.
So it's Joe. It's done. The belt is done. We're just waiting to fill up the current raffle, but with the holidays, it's a little bit slow at the moment. But Mr. Beefy, you've got to say, I love you, Jones.
That's crazy because, that's crazy the belt's done,
Yeah. There's about
some people get mad about them, but, hey.
Some people can't let it go and keep making their comments that, CS takes a long time, just like leather guys do.
They do take a long time. They're self-admit their flaws. They've self-admitted their flaws. Yeah. I haven't tried the email address, but I haven't had to contact them. But
a lot of people but here I am as the fanboy and the spokesperson and whatever else. A lot of people have reported that the email system, ever since we did the interview, Ismail gets back to them within hours.
Oh wow!
Nice.
He is responding left, right, and center. I am currently trying to help out a guy that is trying to get a European belt, and there's a bit of a miscommunication with one of the brothers.
Sean, what up, man?
What up, man? Nice to see you.
Canaanite.
Jones, keep it together. But dude, we're here to have fun.
No Isaac Yankum, King J. Sean. Man.
The groups are here. We're here to have fun. The podcasts are here to have fun, and maybe this is a good time to. I teased this before, but we'll throw it up now. In Jones, how many weeks is the event?
Should be we'll give you a confirmed date, but it'll be early January.
This is our next big interview coming up. we've got the current TNA X Division champion who will be on Pounding the Meat, and I cannot give any spoilers who will be following Moose because everything is in the works right now. But big things are happening with the brand, with Pounding the Meat, and we are excited to have Moose on our show. Be a lot of fun, and we'll have special guests, Snaps and Straps, on as well. But having Moose on and talking about his journey as a wrestler, and he's a fan of belts, from what I hear, it'll be really cool to get him on here and to shoot this shit and sit down and have an interview with us. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, that's awesome.
There you go, man.
What about the fake diesel? How about that?
Oh boy. But yeah, good things are coming. We're cooking, and we got a couple things lined up that are in the works. But that is the first confirmed one.
Say that, you know,
A
lot of stuff people don't know, you know.
Yeah, I got something to say. Like, watch what you want to watch. If you're a fan of us, thank you. If you're not, thank you. If you're a fan of other shows, enjoy. Watch what you want to watch. We're not here to steal you from anybody else.
No, that's my job.
Man,
So, watch what you want to watch. We'll keep doing what we do.
crazy
Again,
thing is, this is all people that are never gonna meet each other.
exactly.
I mean,
if
except
we
people
do-
that are friends, you know, are gonna meet each other.
Exactly.
Sure. I've got Mike Martelli, Roy Wilson, Matthew Mirabito, just to name a few that are coming down to Elimination Chamber.
So, are you gonna try to sneak away with that crumb rind, Roy?
I'm gonna probably take Roy's belt and take more pictures with that belt than Roy has.
You know, you should bring your own crumb rind and just do a little switcheroo.
A switcheroo, eh? And since I'm, CS's poster boy, they'll just get another one for free. Oh wait, no, that was Omi that sent me a free belt. Anyone want that belt, by the way? I don't want it anymore.
What? Why?
I don't give a fuck about them.
I'll take it.
I just bought winter tires and
Yeah, it was like they need to.
Yo, tires went up, man. My wife is looking for tires right now, and I get a discount with Goodyear. Still my former employees discount. I know the code. So
sweet. Someone send it to them so they can change the code.
So I'm like, tires have gone up, and they're like, "Why is tires going up?" I'm like, "Yo, inflation, man. Everything goes up." Like,
no, dude, we bought a new car, 2024 Pathfinder, and they're just 18-inch tires on 5x114 bolt pattern, like nothing. It's standard, but I think all in with the rims and everything, and I got a discount through the dealership because my buddy's a mechanic there. I still paid about $1,700 for like the top Yokohama tires, and
I got season or winter tires.
No, winters. Things are a little bit different in Canada than they are in especially Ohio, but it's strongly recommended. Even our insurance companies want us to put our winters on just in case. So
better safe than sorry.
But like if you were to get in an accident, that's one of the first things that they check, right? Is if
what's that? Your fault. You didn't put them on.
Yeah. So about $1,800 for 4 tires on the steel rims though too. So, but especially with the baby on the way too, man. Like I'm not going to take any fucking chances. My wife's gonna, she's due beginning of February, so we've got the Christmas holidays coming up, dude. This is the thing. To be honest, it's gonna be tough in terms of like I'll do what I can to come on here when I've got the time, but get that fucking Vinny to go off his ass and not just play some football video games with Joe, but to come back and.
I'll tell you this, like I'm still getting used to like being on a week and off a week. Like when I'm off, like that Monday hits and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. And then it goes by so fast because I'm off that whole week. And Mom's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just relaxing. Like I'm just chilling.
I'm still looking to take that flight to Vegas, even if I have to do a 24-hour stint.
the invitation before WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's calling your name, Jones. I think
I'm
you need
still
to just
to
switch your
see. Here's the
citizenship.
thing about Toronto. If I come to Toronto, I don't think I'm going to be allowed to leave. So I probably
That's
should do other stuff first.
that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. I don't give a shit about wrestling. I don't
Mhm.
give a shit about the elimination show. It's
Mhm.
just to keep you here.
See,
I
like
will
it's
move your family over here. All right. You can work
Jones.
for the Canadian federal government. And think about it. When we become the 51st state, you'll still have your job. Everything, you just live here.
Jones, don't you want that Cleveland, Ohio prices?
You don't want our prices. You don't want our prices. That's for sure.
I was glad I got to spend time with Maribito and Jones. You know.
Mirabito is I can only imagine the two of them together. You lucky bastard.
So Jones says I walk like I'm gonna fight somebody.
he walks like
Well,
he's
you're
an
the
MMA
biggest
fighter.
bully that I know. So
And I still have to take a trip. There is confirmed. I'm just trying to confirm the dates. I'm actually taking a pretty extensive trip out to California next year as well.
nice. This is my last. When I go to the chamber, it's going to be my last little hurrah for a while. The wife
That's
gave me the green
understandable.
light. She gave me the green light because she'll only be like 3-4 weeks postpartum. So she's like, just go, have fun, but just know like that's it for a while. And I completely get that.
You may make a trip in the summer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You may
Once
make a
we
trip in the summer.
get we get comfortable and we get used to a new baby. Yeah,
You should come down to Jersey in the summer.
Jersey. Why the
I
fuck
may
would I
do
want
that.
to go to
I
Jersey?
may do that, man.
SummerSlam.
Oh,
I should do that, man.
Yeah. Everybody
is
should
Vinny
do
gonna make the trip too?
it. He's from Jersey. He'd be
I know,
stupid not
like-
to.
He should.
I know Maribito will do it. He's like right up the block.
Martelli is not that far, despite what a lot of New Yorkers think about Jersey. And then I'm gonna drop in on Carmine. And I'm gonna take his Trump belt,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna plaster the Canadian flag all over it. All right.
100 pounds a kilo belt.
And also another thing, I'm letting you guys know now. It has been confirmed that I'm going to be going to Slammiversary next year.
Oh boy.
Nice.
It's right outside of Long Island. It's too close for me not to go. I did the math. It's about a 2-hour drive.
It's pretty sweet, man.
So I'm going to invade somebody's city. Actually, two people's city. Actually, you got BA and Maribito. So it's going to be a wild night. I might have to take a couple of these off.
The breakfast and the Uber ride was enough
Yeah.
for me.
So it's going to be a busy. It's going to be a busy next year for me.
I was just waiting for that Uber guy to pull over right on the freeway.
Yeah, it's like
get out. Get out.
Here's the thing. There's only a few weeks left when you think about it. This year's almost over.
Yeah.
2024 has come and gone.
It's been a crazy year for me, especially.
It's been a really
It's been years of ups and downs, but I'm ending on a high note.
yeah.
No matter what things get thrown at me, I refuse to have anything less than a high note.
I'm the same. Like, started off as a bummer, but like, you know, and trying to figure out. But I'm ending the year like, I know where I'm at.
It's all
I'm
about
good.
elevation and ascension for all of us.
Yep. No, I'm very blessed. This year was good to me.
Okay,
2025
Joe,
is-
we can't do that on camera.
2025
Sorry,
is
man.
2025 is going to be, I think, a very positive year as well. Big changes for my family, and yeah, just being able to connect with you guys and shoot the shit and do this podcast with everybody involved with PTM. It's fun, man. This is why we do this stuff, and
Exactly.
very grateful that as the year comes to an end, when I look back, holy Christ, I've been with PTM now for about a year, a little over a year now. And yeah, it's been good, man. It's been a lot of fun to be able to be part of this. So, and I know we don't, like, even with our own lives, we don't get to talk all that often
Exactly.
or as often as we used to. I haven't spoken to Joe in a minute, man, just because we're all busy doing our own shit. But no, it's good to reconnect.
Busy with family, work,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, the things that matter.
Adulting.
Life takes over stuff.
And you guys just had a 4-day long weekend, and you got to hopefully spend time with your loved ones and your families, and that's what matters.
Shit, I was working. No, I was off. I was off,
but I was dealing with a now teenager.
I did go
dude
to work Thanksgiving for 4 hours and got double time and a half. Something
nice.
I appreciate that, King J. Sean. I know you and I have connected because of this podcast, because of some of the belts that we collect. But yeah, these guys brought me in. Vinny brought me in, and there's no takeover. There's
who's the third man?
I was gonna actually come on tonight, but like I'm we were announcing some news. I was like, I'm quitting. Make everybody happy. just for a moment, and then say, no, fuck you guys. I'm not going anywhere. But no, dude, this is why we do this. Shoot the shit, talk about wrestling. That's what brought us all together. And hell, like this is what's actually going to be bringing us in person, right? For so many of us, being able, I got to meet you and the two of you one day in person as well. And it's only a matter of time.
I'll wear my Goldberg shirt when we do.
Yeah, I'll have my medal.
Or I'll wear my '97 Survivor Series shirt. You know, with the karate fighters.
Yeah, you dropped the ball, AEW. You dropped the ball.
Oh, there he is. There's Talmadge. Is that Talmadge? It's one of the suspected names. It took you long enough. Where you maybe were watching the other show, or maybe you just finally put your kids to bed, and now you're jumping on and have nothing better to do with your time instead of go spend time with your family, bro.
Hey, fake account. Grow a set. I'll invite you on next week.
I'll invite him on now. I'll stay up a little bit longer. Come on now. Send one of us a message. We'll send you a stream yard. If not, come on next week, next Wednesday. Stop being a bitch and show who you actually are. There's a reason why I blocked you and your fucking loser friends. Go sell your belt for $2,000 less than what you paid for it, you fucking idiot.
Woo!
No, I don't care about these people, but at the same time, the fact that you're pulling this juvenile kind of shit, you're a grown ass man, you're a parent, and you're making fake profiles about somebody that you're never going to meet in a niche belt hobby, dude. Get a life.
Mm-hmm.
You're still pulling this shit. Like, no one talks about you. You're a nobody, not just in the hobby, outside of the hobby too. Go be that somebody for the people that actually matter. Go be that somebody for your kids, for your family.
You want to go somewhere? Better wake up and
That's the whole point of the show tonight. We were shooting from the hip, right?
Yep.
Shooting from the hip. So if you want to message me, if I haven't blocked you, even though I have a good idea of who you are, message me. Let's talk about it. Or come on our show right now, or come on next Wednesday.
I don't have anybody blocked. Message me.
I don't know who I have blocked. I don't think anybody either.
And a hush.
Anything else before we wrap up? And I got to give these guys some content because their shows suck.
I got nothing.
No?
I'm enjoying YouTube TV right now.
That's pretty good.
It's amazing.
Well, since there's
nothing else, my little comments there scared him away.
Mr. Beefy's laughing.
It's like
no,
we gave you an open forum.
It is what it is.
Mr.
Week.
Beefy, for Christmas, I'm going to buy you a cardboard cutout of Liv Morgan.
Where's the cutout?
I'm not going to comment on that because I'm behaving myself.
Yo, what if it comes to life like Lady Lisa in Pixels?
Man. Easy. Oh my goodness.
Look at me like, let's go.
Yo, he's still awake. He's excited. Now you got to follow through, Joe.
Wow.
Weird
I missed that show.
But no, this was fun, man. Just every once in a while, we should probably do this stuff. Just, you know,
Just open the floor. Just have
Open
some
the floor,
fun.
have one of
Yeah,
these
let's
fun,
bring some people on. You know,
Yeah,
Exactly.
I have spies. I might bring on. Got some. I've got some spies. We'll see.
So
We'll see what happens. But yeah, next week, new night, new time. Well, same time, but
same
just a
time,
new
different
night.
night.
And then if we're not on every week, so be it. You'll have
Yep.
something else to do. And if you don't have anything else to do, find something else to do with your time.
Exactly.
You're grown
you never
adults.
know. There may become a time when we're like, we'll just take Thursdays back.
Exactly.
You never know what can happen.
Well, that's what we do, right? We sabotage things. I sabotage things. So I'm gonna just sabotage Thursdays when we feel like sabotaging Thursdays.
Pop up any
It
night.
could, if I said, it could just be random showings. We could just decide to show up on a Monday. Tuesdays we'll leave alone.
Tuesdays and Saturdays we can.
Tuesdays and Saturdays are.
Those guys can have those nights because
they-
despite what some comments have been said about me with certain individuals, I've got no beef with those guys. I think there was more a miscommunication with Kevin than anything. But I got no issues with him privately or personally. Neither with Ethan. I've said that before. So the other guys, they are what they are.
So if someone shows up on a Saturday, it probably won't be me. And I'm going to discuss. Probably going to try to remove credentials from somebody who just likes to randomly pop up and go live. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Vinny.
Vinny, you know, we all love Vinny.
Don't do
Do
that
we?
to Vinny, bro.
I try to love Vinny. I try to love Vinny. He when he really wanted to watch Stallone's softcore porn video on repeat with me, that's when I knew that something about Vinny that it's just he's dreamy, you know. But then, yeah, then he just left us.
Yeah.
He just left us. He's like Biggie.
Wow.
You know what's funny? I sent Vinny this. You know about Hogan,
Oh,
And-
for Saturday night main event.
and I'm like, Jones will be happy.
Can you imagine they open Saturday night main event with Real American
I don't hate the song.
and
The
Hogan?
song
No,
actually belongs in American Express.
and
You know what I
Hogan
like?
He stole it.
I like they used the old music when they were promoting it.
I hope everything looks retro.
I don't think they need him, and this is not even me
Shooting on
having
him,
personal feelings aside. They don't need him.
Do you think they'll bring in Jesse?
Absolutely.
100%.
That's the perfect time to bring him in.
Yeah, because it was mentioned a few months back.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it. When he showed up on Raw that night, like who would have thought? There's another guy. I know we were going banter back and forth with that Freebird dude in the comments before, but like Jesse, the Body Ventura, look at the comments that he has made in the past. So
100%
never say never,
agree.
especially with this new era of WWE.
I like Jesse. Okay. He saved us from freaking Predator. Okay. He was involved. He helped. Okay.
On that note, I think I'm done.
We've been on it for a while, man.
Yeah, so this
almost
is
an hour and
long for
40.
a regular weekly show.
Yeah.
No interview. This
Don't
is
get
just
used to this. All right.
It could happen every once in a while.
I like this.
Only thing
It's
that's
fun.
guaranteed is you're getting about 30 minutes out of us. That's a guaranteed 30. Anything
I
beyond
look
that is
forward to
extra.
seeing. I look forward to seeing the posts that people will share over some of the things that were said tonight because it's inevitable.
Clip me
They,
all you
they
want.
live for this stuff.
I
They
will
live for
stand-
it, bro.
I will stand 10 tones down on everything I said.
Yeah.
My inbox is open. I actually have for those that don't realize it, I have a public page. My page is completely public.
I didn't know that. I learned something new about you tonight, Jones. Most of these people only see me on Thursdays or now Wednesdays because I don't have access to them anymore for that reason. But if you
I
want to
just
get a
mind my
hold
own
of me,
business.
there's a way to get a hold
I
of
see
me.
everything.
You see everything, as do a lot of people. You know what's the funny thing? I'll end on this note before we go on another tangent. We're on for another 20 minutes or whatever. I don't look for any of this stuff, and yet people who I think have their best intentions in mind, that actually care about what we're doing here on this channel, or what we're doing over in our group, just to get away from it. People that are, they're just tired of it, and they're like, fuck man, this stuff is so ridiculous and so stupid, and they'll share it with me. And I find it it's sad, man. It's sad that you have that much time on your hands, that this is what you want to do.
I don't go back and forth with people. I just see it and I'm just like, man.
Yeah, but and you know what? Maybe we would have done stuff like this a few years back when things were different, right? When the format of the show was different, when the world was different. But like now, yeah, move on.
There's too much else going on in the world that I need to focus on than
Yeah,
who likes me and who doesn't. Sorry.
I don't know. It's just a hobby.
yep. And you know, I'd like to imagine that people have other hobbies other than wrestling belts. Because if you don't, then I don't know what you're spending all this time on.
It didn't save me. I just found it. I care less about this shit.
You know, when I wore a hat backwards when I interviewed CS, that fucking bozo made comments about that. Like that was something funny to him.
I'm gonna tell you all this, man. The hobby's cool, but like, it's fun. But if it disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset. I'm sorry.
And I'm going to end it with this.
I'm just
Contrary to popular belief, the hobby's dead.
I'm not in charge. You guys end the stream. I'm not pushing the button.
So here's another free clip for you. The hobby is dead.
bitches.